Hello everybody, I'm Delanie and welcome back to another edition of Make and Do. Today's project is a classic little parachute guy. Things that you're gonna need for this project, you're gonna need some tissue paper or lightweight paper. I tried it with fabric, it worked okay, but I would say paper is your best option. You're gonna need scotch tape, scissors, pencil, and something to create some weight down here. So I used a little spool from a spool of thread, but you can use whatever you have that's gonna create some weight on the bottom, so like a little toy or something like that. And let's get started. All right. So I have a big sheet of tissue paper here, and I just need to fold it up. So I'm gonna fold it in half, the hamburger way. Fold it in half again. You can try and keep track of how many times you folded it. Fold it again. And I'm gonna fold it again. So I have this little package. If you have smaller sheets of paper working with, that's okay too. You can cut what they're called gores, which are the pieces that we're gonna glue together to make our parachute. But this is just one easy way of getting them all sort of at once. So then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure that I'm on the edge that's totally folded over. And I'm gonna draw a shape that's like a rounded triangle, this little piece at the end. Just like that. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to look sort of like that. Then I'm gonna cut all the shapes out. I'm gonna count and make sure that I got enough. I need 6 gores. I did a lot of research for this project and I looked at all sorts of different balloon shapes and shapes of different sorts of parachutes. And this one turned out to work the best for me. So I ended up with 8, but I'm just gonna save those in case I end up messing any of them up. Okay, we're gonna start gluing together. So you're gonna start with one flat one. Okay. Then you're gonna fold your gore in half. You might wanna protect your table just so that you have, you don't get glue all over everything, but this table doesn't really matter. You're gonna put glue along one of the curved edges. And the key with this is just to make sure that you get it totally glued. I'm gonna line up another edge and press down. So your first step you're gonna have, and it looks like this. So then I'm gonna fold that top piece over like the pages of a book. I'm gonna glue again. I'm gonna take another folded piece. I'm gonna lay it on top of there and press down. So one thing that I noticed when I was making this is to just check that you're not gluing all of the layers together. You just want to create what's called a seam. So you're just gluing each of the 2 pieces together as you go. Press, sticky, and fold. Okay, fold that guy over. One. Okay. So when you get to the end, You're gonna notice that these two friends are not glued together. So then we're just gonna do that last bit. Glue them together. So now I'm gonna carefully peel each section apart and start opening it up. I've made a little parachute umbrella shape. Now you can see that this one is bigger than this one, so depending on how wide and how big you make the gores, your parachute's gonna be a different shape. And I found this really interesting when I was doing my practice ones because depending on how I drew or made the gores or how many I put in, the parachute made a different shape. So you could try out making a couple different ones and then see which one flies or which one floats a little bit better. So the next thing that we're gonna do is we are going to attach our string to this guy. So I'm gonna take, and I would say maybe about 12 inches of string is good for most of these. You're making it about the same size as mine. So if you have a little spool of thread for your weight, you're gonna feed the strings through that hole so that this guy lives in the middle. If you don't have one of these, you can tape a bottle cap or whatever toy you have down to the center of the strings and just try and get them all sort of the same length. So now I'm going to take my tape. I'm going to spread out each of my threads. Okay. Then on the inside of your parachute, you are just going to tape your string on. The tape helps reinforce those edges as well because these tend to tear a little bit easily. You just want to make sure that you put the 3 on that side together and go to the other side of your parachute. Now you could, before you start this, you could paint your tissue paper and let it dry so that it has a little bit more interest, or you could color it with marker. This could be something that you play around with all day. There were so many cool designs when I was looking for information about this project that you could look for online. And this could be a whole scientific experiment in creating objects with motion, which I always find really fun and really cool. Love figuring out how things work. Okay. So, there is my parachute. 10 minutes, no big deal. I can't wait to see the parachutes you create. Remember, this one is a 6-gore parachute, but I've seen ones with up to 12 to 15 panels, or you could even try making it a balloon shape. I can't wait to see what you create. Remember to send me pictures and videos and tell me how it goes. And if you get stuck, feel free to ask questions via Instagram or email, and we'll see you soon.